Right. So what's up? So I'm pretty hungry, and there's not anything that I can just whip up. So I have some chicken, but I'm kind of chickened out, like in a house of chicken lovers. It's like everything is chicken, you know. So we're gonna look for something. Syrup. No flour. No pancake mix. Oh. Okay, let's think. Let's think. What do we have? Let's think. Eggs. So I'm about to make some burgers, but we don't have any bread, right? This is the only bread that we have. Okay, so let me see. Fuck it. We about to rock out with those burgers. Because I have a feeling baby boy gonna wake up and he's gonna be hungry, you know. So why he got this ground beef in here? Uh-oh, might be a change of plans. Because I can't waste that beef. Let me see. What? Ah. Pasta. Garbanzo beans. Hold on. So he has plans for this. So the burgers are still on. So, okay. So I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. Oh, wait. Okay, whatever. So I was trying to figure out what I could do with these artichokes. This damn fly in the house. Ooh. Oh, I got it. So whenever you're having trouble with opening a can, this is a trick I learned. So you just do this around the top of the rim. Voila. So, mm. Okay, that was very satisfying. So I had to wash like the bathroom mat towels, the dish drying towel, other dish drying towels, rugs, towels. We had an overflow, so the sink overflowed, so we had to use the towels to get up the water, but it was real stinky, so I had to hurry up and wash that stuff. But it's real tight. Okay, as you can see, times are tight. Okay, can't just go out and go to a spot and get something to eat right now. And when it comes to my clothes, I wash them, but well, the towels will say I wash them, but I'm going to hang them up to dry. Okay, so I want egg on my sandwich. Okay, so I'm gonna cook this egg. I'm gonna cook one for the dog so he can have a night snack. Can't season his. Okay, so that's on real low heat, so I'm gonna go get the laundry. Okay, come on now. It's no foil. So, I'm gonna put these burgers in here. Okay. So, I absolutely do not need these many eggs. Absolutely not. Wow. Like, look, this is sunny. Fucking around with these sunny side eggs, man. It's like the hardest shit in the world. Ah, success. Whatever. Whatever. So this is the dog's. He's gonna get mad if I if it's too hot when I give it to him. He's gonna be mad. His man's gonna be mad. So I gotta make sure. So I don't think that my son, I don't think that he's gonna want. I don't think he's gonna want. Right. So I guess we're making sliders. I gotta split the bread in half. Split the bread in half. So I have a feeling there are people who are going through hard times. So, I mean, for one, if you need help, ask for it, right? You have not because you ask not. Don't be afraid to ask for what it is in which that you need, you know? Great. So I'm just going to put these things in the oven because we have a fly running around here. So I'm going to put these in the oven so the fly doesn't mess with the food. Okay, so I know you can't see me, but I'm on my porch. So what I'm about to do is go ahead and hang everything up. So the thing is that we hang everything up at night because they will complain during the day if they see you have things hanging over the balcony. Okay? I understand. You know, they don't want to make it look all ghetto and shit. So I'm just going to hang these up fresh out of the wash. Don't have too much space, so we just have to use what we got. So I'm going to go over here, use this other side, use this other chair. Oh, the goddamn dog. Maze. Hey. Come on. Okay. It smells really good too. So everything is hung up. Even if it rains, the rain won't get on the balcony, so we're good. Okay, so before bedtime, we're just going to get into just some body movements. At one point in time, I was very consistent with working out, being active, going here, going there. But when I began to develop more contentment within myself, you know, life slowed down tremendously for me. And I mean, I became very focused because I had to, with dealing with my son throughout the school year. And so what I have noticed, this is my personal opinion and observation, You can't necessarily be a dependable parent if you're always ripping and running and got so many other things to focus on and worry about other than, you know, your child. I understand some people are single parents, and so therefore there's a lot that they have to do in order to be able to provide stability for the children. So I'm gonna tell you something about my mom. My mom could not be, she couldn't really like be there. And I mean, she was always stressed out. Then she was dealing with her alcoholic addiction. But one thing that my mom did, she would compensate, and so she would use her money to make our lives better. Yes, I cannot be the available parent for you in the way in which that you may need, but I'm just going to trust and have faith in God that God will take care of you and God will protect you. But what I can do is that I can use this money to buy you things that you need. She put us in activities. We were able to go to the movies. She bought my sister a car. She got us all a car. But I'm talking about during the times to where, we were like more like teenage, like a little more independent, so she got my sister a car. So, my sister is kind of, taking on some responsibilities as a parent too when it comes to me and my younger sister. So, I mean, life is what it is. You got to make this shit work. You do what you got to do. Okay? But at the same time, I'm not in the situation, I'm not in the position to where I'm a single parent. And then on top of that, I am considered to be a dependent within the situation as well. In the beginning, I did not like that, because that did not stroke my ego very well. But, I'm just like, well, I have to surrender to this situation. And I mean, since I have somebody taking care, providing for me, I'm going to do the best in which that I can with being a parent, And I mean, I'm just going to just get serious and settle down and focus in at home. Okay, so I mean, so a lot of things that I used to do, ripping and running, of course, I was smaller, but small sacrifice. We can lose the weight, right? But at this point in time, it's not even about the weight. It's things going on inside of the body. Things are feeling tight, having issues with those hips. I've been to the chiropractor, and they keep realigning the spine. And I remember the last time I went to the chiropractor, he said my hips were locking up. So I started to do exercises, but I haven't been consistent. I do the things that I do, but the problem is that I am not consistent. So after I did my art therapy session with Getting Closer to God, I told myself I'm going to commit to my body more. Okay? So if I'm going to commit to it, I don't have to power drive it, which means that it's going to be something that I'm going to be doing, very, consistently. So there's no point in trying to burn it out. And I'm not ready just yet to get out there and start power driving. So, I'm going to take it easy on myself. I'm going to be gentle with myself. So when I wake up in the morning, sometimes when I wake up in the morning, but it's more so at night, the morning time is kind of like mental, nighttime is kind of like physical. So, before I go to bed, I'm going to do a couple of movements to, just kind of work on my hips, loosening up my hips, so that when I wake up in the next morning, it's not so tight, So, yeah, this is just a little meditative practice before the night. Okay? So, okay, so before we get into our projects, this is going to be a big project. So I was actually enlightened. I mean, this is some big energy coming through here. Okay, so what we're going to be doing, we're going to be working on jewelry boxes, and I'm going to be doing like 6 of them at a time. I have never done anything like this. This is going to require a lot of focus and making sure that shit is organized, because I'm trying to figure out the best way as to how to do this without working too hard. Okay, you work smart, don't work hard. So if you have everything organized before we get into what we're going to get into, I'm talking about materials, having a layout of the jewelry boxes, and picking the colors. Okay, so it has came to me, I was enlightened that the boxes are going to be purple, the inside. So we're really going to work on the inside of the boxes and not the outside. Okay, I'm going to work on the outside of the boxes on my own time, personally, after our session. Okay, but the thing is that we're going to go in with these boxes, with the inside of these boxes. Okay, so metaphorically, it's like working on the inside. Okay, so I mean, I have the color because it's pretty stressful. I'm just like, I have no idea as to how to do this or what I'm going to do. So I had a spirit guide come to me. It was one of my angels, and they said, they gave me a vision of all the boxes laid out, and it's like the layout of the box, coming up with the layout of the box and how to close the box. Okay, so, and I'm just like, man, we're really going to do 6 of them at a time? Like, this is like production. Okay, this is like manufacturing. Not really though, but you know what I'm saying. But you know what I'm saying. Okay, so this is very different for me. It is going to pose a challenge, a very big challenge. Not really, but I mean, because it's different. So mentally, I have to prepare and make sure that I am steady, ready, and prepared. Okay, so I'm having mental interference. Individuals are trying to psychically attack me at this time. So the thing is that when it comes to opposition, I tell people this all the time, we're all going through the same thing. What sets you apart from your opposition is what creates the imbalance, which puts you in opposing energy, right? So I have this individual that is psychically attacking me, that is very upset for certain things going on within their life, right? It has a lot to do with money. You know, my thing is, well, you shouldn't have tried to sabotage me financially, and you wouldn't find yourself being financially sabotaged as well, right? So the thing is that, okay, that is the truth. Now, where love comes in at is because this individual is attacking me, I'm picking up on it, it's purposeful, right? Because God would not allow this to be able to touch me if he wasn't willing to make an example out of a situation. I know that I am protected. So even when negative or annoying things come through, it is because God is trying to guide me, help me, show me. Okay? It's a lesson. I'm supposed to be learning, right? So times are tight for me as well. But I am so used to times being tight. And so therefore, I have learned how to be patient, go with the flow, as well as find healthy distractions for myself, you know? So the spiritual, the mental, I'm just like, oh my goodness, you know, before I can't even really sit down and think or hear my spirit guides because this individual is trying to interfere. Okay. So I said to this individual, you have to learn how to be patient. There is nothing that you can do right now. You wasting your time with being angry, frustrated, this is all depleting you. This is making you, this is exhausting you mentally. So even when you do receive the funds, you're still not going to be happy. You will feel a temporary moment of relief. But the decisions that you're going to make with investing that money, you're going to be invested from a place of trauma. I'm going to do you a solid, and I'm going to guide you mentally because you are trying to make me an issue, a problem in your life due to the decisions that you have been making, which is very unfair. Okay? But like I said, there's a bigger picture to the situation. So with coloring, this is one of the ways, a healthy distraction as to how I allow myself to relax. You would be surprised when individuals sit down together and color, especially individuals that deal with mental challenges or is just having a bad mental day, or maybe they're depressed about something. Maybe they have issues with socializing. You have no idea how easy it is to bring people together and sit down and color. So even if you have an individual that is introverted and maybe struggles with socializing, you'll be surprised when you sit them down at a table with other individuals who are coloring. It's not so much pressure to have to connect with other individuals because you have a healthy distraction. So this helps your mind to relax. You open up. And, you know, if somebody speaks to you, says something to you, or if, you know, you're feeling good and relaxed enough to where you want to open up, you know, it creates a platform, a space, and an environment to be able to do that, you know? So, and of course, with getting into art therapy, color therapy, oh, I cannot, these fucking flies. I'm telling you, it will be no flies out here. And the moment I come out here, it's like 6 flies that come towards me, you know, just flying the fuck all around me, just trying to annoy me, right? But anyway, so you will be surprised how comforting it is to sit around and color and socialize with other individuals. Okay, so coloring, when you so coloring for me, you'll notice that when we first started, the woman was already colored, right? Yeah, because I had, you know, this is what I do. I create coloring books. These coloring books that I'm using, they're more so prototypes. So when it comes to my prototypes, you know, it's okay for me to use them for whatever, or whatever I want to do. I can use them to help myself. And so that's what I do. And so here right now, I'm sharing. Okay. I'm sharing one of my tools, and you may not be into coloring. The idea of it may seem stupid, and that has a lot to do with the mental. Sometimes you have to push past barriers, boundaries within your mind that are holding you back from experiencing and exploring. So I spoke to this individual. When the money is coming, that it's coming, so you don't have to sit here and be upset until the money comes. You need to find something productive to do until the money gets here, right? Or until your mind is relaxed enough to where you have accepted it's not here right now, but it will be. You just need a moment to breathe. When we get into breathing helps. Well, meditation helps with breathing, but meditation helps with focus. And there are many different types of meditation. So if you think about it, meditation is focus. So when we start off with meditating in silence in the lotus position, this is helping us to build our focus. So then when we start getting into projects, when it comes to certain responsibilities within our lives, we have enough training to where we can focus in on the task. And we're not all over the place thinking about other things that we have to do, we have going on, things that are not happening, things that are happening. You handle one thing at a time. Focus on one thing at a time. And after some time, you will build a very strong focus to where, you may find yourself focusing on many things at the same time. And you understand the process must be patient with your focus. Okay? So yes, it's unfortunate when we have to struggle with money issues and situations. Like I've said before, money is the number one leading cause to bad mental health, because everybody, when we live in a very physical world, well, you have to pay for things. You want a house, you want stability, you got to pay the bills. You got to pay to keep that water on. You want a bed to sleep in, you got to pay to get that bed. Me personally, I've been broke for a long time. So I have learned to create the things that I need. Okay? In the beginning, I felt stupid. But, the shit be working. It started working for me. When I started to see how things were working for me, I'm just like, wow, I appreciate this. You know what I mean? And so by appreciating this, I find more value in it. It becomes more useful. I find more usages for my creations. So, it is what it is. And it just became something that I just continue to practice. Ever since I was a little girl, I really didn't care about friends. I had my sisters. So when it came to my sisters, I'm always with my sisters. But when it comes time for me, I like to create. I was always painting, working on music, maybe writing stories, like during that time to where I was younger, really wasn't on like YouTube and all that type of stuff. So it was, it was a little more organic. I used to build stuff too, paint on my clothes, sew stuff on my clothes, all type of things. That is how I utilize my time. So it's like naturally, this is just who I am. I would tell you that I've trained myself in this way, but from ever since I was a child, this is just me. Okay. And there was a period in time with becoming an adult to where I'm like, it's time to put away those childish things. Right? But what ended up happening? I ended up coming right back to it. Okay. And when I came back to it, it was more useful because as an adult and having to be the provider for yourself, you have to develop more independence. Now, the thing is that you can definitely train yourself. And of course, we call this programming. You can program yourself with practice, with consistency. Okay. So, it's really no excuse. Either you want it or you don't. And you can't sit around and cry and be a big baby because you want something that you are not willing to put in the work for. We must be true to ourselves, right? Maybe what you think you want is not actually what you want or what is good for you. Trust and believe me when I tell you that. I'm a very aggressive woman. In my earlier 20s, anything that I saw that I want, I went after it and I got it. And, I wasted a lot of time with trying to obtain it. Then when getting it, I realized this is not what I want. Just being very impulsive. So I appreciate my contentment. People say you can't be content in life because you got to be on the grind, you got to be on the hustle. Well, there is a difference between content and complacent. Complacent is what they mean, but they use the word content. You need to find some type of contentment within your life. Contentment is satisfaction. You need to be able to be satisfied with some shit instead of always wanting and needing more or something else. In satisfaction, I don't even know if that's a word, with being satisfied, you find more peace, and you also develop your confidence more too. Because in being content, for one, it slows you down so you can see, the hustle and the bustle, right? Everybody trying to get to the money. So, which is fine, right? But let's say you got somebody, they're always holding this carrot over your head. They know that you're hungry. You hungry, you're starving. They need a favor. They need a big favor, but they're willing to give you this little ass carrot for that favor. And it's not a decent favor. It's something that can get you into trouble. Okay? But you're so hungry. You're ready to get it, ready to do whatever it is in which that you got to do to get it. So you eat that little ass carrot and you go fulfill the mission. Maybe you'll get away with it. Maybe you won't. Let's say that you don't. Now you done got for that little ass carrot. Even if it's a whole bin full of carrots, you still have to ask yourself, was this worth it? Okay, so I'm going to say seven out of 10 times, most people come to realize that it's not. Right, because when you're discontent, you can't see clearly. But when you are content, because when you're discontent, you're trying to get nowhere fast. But when you are content, you're able to slow down. Therefore, you're able to see things. Right, now you're giving yourself a moment in time to make a choice consciously. Not just thriving off of your needs, right? So people they will find anything to use as a weapon against you. And if you are the type of person to where you are always in need, you are always needy, you're going to be a sucker every time, and then it's kind of like you're going to be somewhere with nothing, struggling. And it's like people just threw you out. There are no more opportunities anymore. There's no more of anything coming in. Now we're starving. Now we're craved. Okay. Earlier in the video, I remember telling you, you have not because you ask not. So during the times to where you are in need, do not be afraid to ask. And if somebody rejects you or if they tell you no, well, you have to respect that. Okay. So I always tell this story too. I used to be a dancer, and in the club, they would give us like a little prep, right? Because it is a business. If you can't jump on one John, go to the next. If you don't like rejection, this is not the occupation for you, right? So with me going through that experience, that too helped me to build more of my confidence, especially with dealing with rejection. I don't know. It's just back during that time, I just feel like being in that life, it just does something. It inflates your ego, because if somebody tells me no and I'm sitting up here half naked looking good and you're going to tell me no, like I'm going to be ready to fucking snap. So that was a process that I had to go through. I had to learn not how to take rejection so personal, especially when it comes to business. Now, of course, when it comes to love situations, well, once you practice rejection, it's going to feel different from business and love. But to me, it worked just the same. So whenever I dealt with rejection, I'm not upset. I actually have an appreciation because it's like, don't waste my time with trying to play like you care or you're into me and I'm trying to sit up here and get serious about you and I'm starting to make sacrifices and all this type of stupid shit, preparing my mind. I think traditionally. I can be unconventional, but I think traditionally. If I am in the pursuit, I am in the pursuit for long term. I'm not out here to play. You understand what I'm saying? But sometimes it's necessary to play, because in being too serious about something or like something maybe that you want or whatever, you take the joy out of it. You take the fun out of it. So once again, it just goes back to the balance of things. Okay? So there may not be anything that you can do right now, but remember, it's coming. It's going to happen. Okay? So patience, healthy distraction to be able to relax your mind. All right. So we're going to end it there. And until the next time, I'll see you in our next session. Thank you.